Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people, and we've got one for you today. Alice Beer, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well. It's lovely to talk to you again. It's been too long.
Well, I like you. I'll tell you why. You know this. I mean, you're a lady who's not to be messed with, and if I do anything inappropriate, you'll put me on Watchdog. So I quite like it, really.
Unfortunately, my Watchdog days are over, but I still have contacts there. I can put you on This Morning. I can expose you on This Morning.
I've been exposed on This Morning before, but that's a long story about me and Kim Woodburn.
Yeah, I heard that.
Don't bring that up again. Your career is amazing, really. When I look at what you do, you're so credible and people trust you. And that's hard to generate, isn't it? Trust is the hardest thing of all.
Well, I think you just have to stay authentic the whole way and not sort of fall off. It's very tempting, to go off and be tied into certain things. But yeah, I am genuine and I do care about what I do and I do care about helping people make the right decisions and I do my research. I wish I just was as clever about my own life. I'm very good at organising other people's, but mine's a mess.
We're coming up to Christmas and of course it's that time of the year where not only do we stick our own tree up, but we go to look at other people's, and these Christmas markets really have in the last few years become the big thing, and they're an event in themselves, and there's a new top 20 list by the people at Premier Inn, and number one is Chatswroth Estate. Now, I'm only in Nottingham right now where I'm talking to you, and it is glorious. I'm not surprised. Just the setting itself without Christmas is glorious.
Well, I think that's what, if you look down the list, actually, Chatsworth, Edinburgh, York, you just look at those three and they're places that are beautiful at any time of year. Stick a load of fairy lights up and really it becomes heavenly. But any city centre around the UK, when it becomes Christmassy, it starts to look gorgeous. But these European Christmas markets that we've sort of stolen from Germany, really, Germany and Austria, they've become a huge thing. I think they first started coming over in the 80s, but they've really only established themselves in the last 10 years, as you said. And now it is a big thing and it's become an event. And the reason why I like them is because it's very easy to get over-commercialised and focus on the retail when Christmas comes around. It's the Christmas shopping, it's the credit card, it's the stress of everything that comes with the expectation of Christmas. And Christmas markets are not about buying things, they're about the experience. I like to think of them as creating a memory for that year. So you go to it and you're not park and ride, you're not stressing, you're not sort of thinking, oh, I've got to get in, got to get presents and got to get out again. This is a trip. And as you said, it's researched by Premier Inn. So obviously what they want to do is encourage people to spend a weekend away. Make it a thing, make it a weekend and go to a market and really enjoy the city that you're in, because there's so much in a market when you get there. There's carousels and dancing and singing and things, Christmas decorations to buy and crafts and mulled wine and bratwurst. You don't want to be rushing off somewhere else. You want to be really enjoying it.
And what I love about this is you can't do the elitist stuff. It's too expensive. You can walk around for free. It's completely free.
Absolutely. And in fact, part of this research was quite interesting. The average spend when you go to a Christmas market is £41. Now, that's quite a lot. But actually, what you're probably doing is having your lunch there as well. You might be having snacks there, hot chocolate and cinnamon buns and pretzels. So £41 probably means that you've bought a sort of crafty thing. You've bought something from one of the many stall holders. You've probably bought a Christmas ornament for the tree, and you've all had some food and drink, and you've had, as you say, all this masses of free entertainment. And 40 quid for a whole family day out ain't much, I don't think.
And those people that sell stuff at these Christmas markets are extraordinary. They spend 11 months crafting and creating these little bits and bobs that they love to sell to you for relatively cheap. And it's their hobby, it's their passion, it's all they do and love. You've got to admire these people.
Yes, you do. And somebody asked me before, said, can you take things back? And is it a risk buying things at Christmas markets? Oh, my goodness, no. Look at what you're buying. As you say, it's been crafted for 11 months. They really care about their product. They care that you love it. Because they love it, they want you to love it. And word of mouth is an amazing thing. So some of the things you'll buy at a market, A, you won't see them everywhere. B, you'll buy it in beautiful circumstances, beautiful environment. And C, it'll be something you cherish for years to come. It's a very special experience. And I really, really would encourage you to step away from the high street a tiny bit and go and just see what these stallholders have got to offer.
Let's talk about the top three. Obviously, Edinburgh and York are pretty similar because they're both beautiful towns that have got this glorious sort of picturesque look about them, almost like movies, aren't they, in a way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start with Chatsworth, though. I mean, this estate, when we say an estate, we're not talking a council estate. We're talking huge, great big building, beautiful land, and this incredible market.
Yeah, so the Chatsworth estate is glorious at any time of year, but they set up this Christmas market and it's become very established now. The market has over 100 stalls and they set up this year, it's sort of scenes of fairy tales. So you go through the house and as you travel through, you meet different fairy tale characters. So it's very magical for children. And then that translates outside when you go into the grounds. There's sort of mince pies and mulled wine and music. And then there's sort of theatrical events in the evening as well. So you don't want to be rushing off. As it gets dark and the lights come on, they're acting out these little scenes. And I think they have Christmas tree mazes. It really is very beautiful. And Chatsworth, obviously, it's a bit of a journey. It's not in a city centre, so that's quite magical for itself. But then you go to other city centres that, I don't know, aren't on my radar because I don't have relatives living near them. I don't have reason to go. Leeds and Lincoln, and not places I pass through that often. Lincoln was the first Christmas market in the UK, and that's a brilliant one in amongst its cobbled streets. And having gone to it now, I realise Lincoln's a really cool place. It's really pretty. I didn't realise it had this little old town with the cobbled streets, and it's just beautiful. And it only lasts for 4 days in Lincoln. It doesn't start till the 6th of December. So, you've got to look up where you're going to and when it's on, because sometimes it's a snatched experience and you've got to get in there. Durham, obviously, big city centre one. Leeds, one of the most authentic German markets. They sort of collaborate with Frankfurt Council to make it a real Germanic affair. And you can have breakfast with Santa in Leeds. Who knew?
Very nice.
But, pick a city in the UK. Premier Inn have drawn up this list, but really, there's no rules. Pick a city in the UK that you want to go and experience with your family and use that as the excuse to visit the market. And you'll have a lovely time and you can find out about the UK as well. We don't do enough travelling within. We're all focused on going to the sunshine. We don't do enough travel within the UK. And this is a brilliant excuse for that.
Let's just do the top three again then. Gold was Chatsworth Estate, Edinburgh Christmas Market, and York St Nicholas Fair. The silver was won by Lincoln Christmas Market, Christmas by the River in London, and Chester Christmas Market. You can go and see all of those, find out more, Google them, and as you say, travel this country. It is glorious and no better time to do it than at Christmas. Very finally, as we look at your life and your career, you seem to be doing really well, and there's never been a more sort of controversial time for the high street and online buying and getting your money back and who do you shout at the most. It's really confusing. The consumer sort of has never been in a more diluted place, have they?
I think the consumer's never been in a stronger place, because when I started off in my watchdog years, people would write a letter of complaint, and you'd have to wait for that to end up on someone's desk and hope that it got to the right desk. And then when it went wrong, you'd write a letter to Watchdog. Well, now the consumer has access to social media, and a well-timed shout out to the right, copying in the right people. You've got their ears. They're putting more people on social media than they are in customer services. And so that's where you need to turn your attention. If you've got a real problem with a company, go to their social media account. Don't waste your time ringing up and pressing option 2, 3, 6 and 8 on the phone line and hanging on for 20 minutes. Go straight to social media, and you don't have to have, just set up your Twitter account for that day.
Can I be honest though? I find it a bit sort of not classy. I shudder when I see celebrities moaning at train companies who are 5 minutes late, because I just think I know what you're doing. You're frustrated and you're making a point, but you're also sort of publicly shaming. It's the new sort of Colosseum, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and I plead guilty occasionally. You've got to press my buttons quite a bit, but then I think, come on, this isn't because I'm on telly. This is because I'm getting really shoddy customer service, and if I'm I'm shouting out about it, then so are other people too. And you just think sometimes you want to say to companies, you've got us, you've got me, I'm a customer, cherish me and love me and I'll be back. And sometimes you give them that opportunity on social media. It's their opportunity to put things right and keep you as a customer.
And it can so easily be turned around, and it's also nice to tell people when they do well as when they do badly.
Yes, it's the real rant and rave mentality. I think every now and then we have to shout out. And conversely, as you said, you don't want celebrities saying, oh, my train was 10 minutes late. When you get celebrities saying, oh, my word, my new hairdryer, I absolutely love it. Immediately you think, oh, they got that for free or they're being paid. Well, sometimes it's quite nice to just shout out and say, do you know what? I went to a shop and they really got it right. They really got it right.
Oh, I twittered earlier. Have you seen Alice Beer? She's delicious. You see, I said this earlier. Got 300 retweets. It was marvellous.
Really?
When are we going to see you more on the telly? I mean, what about eating cow's anus or something like that on I'm a Celebrity? Because you keep it classy, don't you? You do what you do and tend to avoid the other stuff.
Well, I don't know. I quite like the I'm a Celebrity. I love it to watch. And I texted Holly yesterday morning and said, you were fab. And she came back and said, thank you. And I think that was quite a big thing for her. They were big shoes to step into and she did it amazingly. I mean, look at the viewing figures. I like the I'm a Celebrity thing and I quite like Strictly. So I would be tempted by those two. I've said no in the past, but maybe children are older now. Maybe I might go and do it. Don't know.
I think you're one of the most professional TV presenters when I see you on This Morning handling that live stuff. And you do that thing that you never do on telly, which is touching stuff, walking, talking, thinking, handling, switching on, switching off, talking to the public all at the same time. You're sort of a glutton for punishment, really, aren't you, Alice?
I am a glutton for punishment. And then, like last week, I turn up in a skirt that's got a very big split up it, and I put Philip Schofield off. And he said, oh, no, that's revolting. I said, please.
I can see the front page of The Sun now. Alice Beer, slit, put off. Philip Schofield, you want to reword this? This is not going well.
No, it was already there. Within a minute, I got home and I thought, all right, who's running with that this morning? And looked it up. And yeah, there it was. Can't get away with anything these days. But I love This Morning. And I'm very lucky, to sort of keep going and sort of keep the consumer interest going. And This Morning is just the most heavenly job for me. And I love it. And I'm very, very grateful to be there.
You're a champion of the people and we thank you for that. So lovely to talk to you again. Alice Beer, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alex.